We're live! You guys, we're about to do the biggest crossover live known to man. I know Barrett and I have done several of these before, but we're going to up ourselves now, okay? That's why I got all this merch on. Let's see if we can get her. Um, how do I do this? Oh. It's happening. How's everybody doing? Oh my god, we got a Barrett Das Forever lover over here. This is great. Barrett! I was literally just looking at all the people who are on, and like several of them were like Barrett Das lover, like Barrett Das fan, love heart. I love it.
I'm a Jake Borelli fan.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I was just posting a story of all my merch that I have on right now because I'm that guy. I'm at Station 19. I got the socks that Danielle and Savory gave us.
Of course.
I'm like fully in it.
Oh my god, I love it. My only Station 19 merch. Am I echoing right now?
Oh, you might be. Sometimes my parents tell me this when I put my hand under my phone.
It's sort of mine too.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can fix mine. Oh my god, my only Station 19 merch is a shirt that's in my dirty clothes bag.
It's because you wear it so often.
I wear it to exercise. It's like,
that's great.
It feels appropriate.
Totally.
It feels.
Oh my God.
I'm like always nervous about working in like the merch into my everyday.
I know. I literally only wear it at home alone or when I go to set, which I look like the biggest nerd on Grey's because I'm always wearing Grey's merch. But I'm like, where else are we supposed to wear it?
I look like the biggest nerd on Station 19 because I'm the biggest nerd on Station 19.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling. My parents are here visiting, which is nice. And I'm just like living it up. Hiatus, man.
Oh, awesome.
Are you excited for tonight's episodes?
I am very excited for tonight's episode. I'm so excited to see what's going on over on your end.
It's big.
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm really excited about our episode. I'm nervous, which I haven't been in like a long time to like watch.
Yeah, it's a big one for you, right? Are you allowed to spoil anything? Are you allowed
to some of it is in the trailer. So there's a fire at my parents' restaurant.
Shit.
And
poop.
Yeah.
Darn it.
But yeah, it's a pretty heavy episode. It's not just me. Everybody, the whole station shows up, but it is it's heavy. It's got some really strong themes, I would say. I don't want to talk too much about it, but the title of the episode is Say Our Names, so we got some stuff going on.
Oh, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Now. It's in 2 hours too. Holy mackerel.
I know. I can't believe it. I'm on the East Coast, so I'll be watching it live.
Are you back in New York?
I am sort of. I'm in Connecticut right now working on something.
That's exciting.
I know.
Are you allowed to tell us about that at all, or do we all just have to wait?
I actually don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been announced as part of the cast yet, so I don't know if I can say, but but it's okay. It's not gonna come out for a while. So.
Oh my God! Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so freaking exciting. It's like, I love watching you work on station, so I'm excited to see you in other stuff. This is great.
Oh, thanks, Jake. I miss you so much.
I miss you guys too. I was just talking with Danielle last week about like how much I miss you guys, and
I know.
I know.
It was like so hard to not be able to do as much crossing over.
I know. And as you know, I've been like so paranoid this year. I like haven't seen anybody, and so it's like I'm so ready to just like for things to start feeling safe again.
I know. Well, it's so wonderful you get to be there with your parents.
I know they're here. I would like show. I feel like they would kill me if I showed them on this live right now. They're literally they're doing my laundry right now. I'm like, I love my parents.
Give me your address. I'm sending mine.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
So can you tell me anything about your episode tonight?
Kind of. It's
Okay.
a it's a big Levi episode, which I'm very excited about. We are at that point in the timeline where the vaccine trials are happening. So this is
Mm-hmm.
still like back in like I think maybe June, July. And so Levi gets selected as a patient in one of the first vaccine trials, and that's where we sort of pick up at the beginning of the episode. So um, yeah, so
Awesome.
it's also been a very pertinent storyline, something that I care a lot about, and I'm excited to see it. We also get a little Shmiko action, which I know a lot of people are super excited about. So
Whoa.
yeah, hold your breath for that.
That's exciting. I will. Um, so tell me,
Yes,
how have you felt about your about the season so far? We're almost done. I can't believe that
it's
the
wild.
season
I
finales.
can't believe we did an entire season of television in a pandemic, and I
Yeah.
can't believe how like safe it felt doing it, and like how I mean, just you know all the
Yeah.
protocols that we had to follow in order to do it, and it just like we got it done. And I know at the very end there was like this huge sigh of relief, like and the fact that we've been able to tell these incredible stories about the pandemic during the pandemic, it's like I don't know. I feel a huge yeah, a huge sigh of relief, and also like so glad and proud that these writers chose to tackle it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's been a year, for everybody, for so many people, like, well, for the entire world, like no other.
Yeah,
And to be able to complete, like you said, to complete a season of TV during this time has been incredibly stressful. I mean, I was at my limit at the end of this season.
yeah.
Like we're
I, I was
all
too.
of
I
us.
like couldn't form sentences. I
Yeah.
was like,
Like, I mean, I'm barely able to function now, but I was thinking, I mean, you've been on our set. We're such a close knit group.
totally.
We sit in the same room most of the time and like talk.
Yeah,
Um, and it was so hard to not be able to do that. We had to be, for those who don't know, we had to be separated into rooms of like two people
yeah,
um, all the time, unless we were out on location or something. And so we had cast rooms where, that people would pair up or go solo or whatever, but it just changed the dynamic so much. So like
totally. I remember
we would,
Lofton would talk about that all the time, or he would post in like a room all by himself, and I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
yeah,
so sad. And I love everybody I work with. And I was so like devastated that we didn't have that connection, especially when we really needed it this
yeah.
year.
We're on Grays. They had us in a room, but it was like a huge gymnasium, and we were all like 12 feet apart from each other, and so it was like we got to see each other, but you had to like scream across the room. I posted a picture of
I
Alex,
saw,
Nico, and I, and it was like so it was its own difference, and like that was every time I came on to station with you guys, I always felt like immediately welcomed into like the crew. And then when I did my episode this year, I saw nobody. Like
right.
literally I saw nobody because I was just on the iPad. And so I literally like came in early in the morning, went and shot like the iPad stuff. Gray, Damon, and like a few of your guys' other actors were on the other end of the
Yeah.
iPad, but like stages away, and I didn't get to see anybody, and I was like, oh, bummer.
It's so sad, but
I
I'm
know.
I'm really proud of us, like it's the cast and the crew, especially because they had a million more hurdles to jump through than we did. Even, they were masked
Totally.
and shield and camera and everything. It was just so awkward and ungainly for so many people, and it was all to keep us safe.
Yeah. Which kudos to them. I'm like so proud of every like the amount of people that it took to make this thing happen. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So
It's
wild.
pretty incredible. But I don't
Uh,
know. So what have you been talking about on your lives? I haven't done one in so long.
honestly, I've just been like being the Grays fan I am. I feel like it's like I I hold back sometimes about how much of a Grace fan I am because I don't want to creep people out. But like I like was going through my photo roll and I was like, I have so many photos. I don't know how many I should post. Like I love it. So I've just been like geeking out over here, truly. What about you?
That's so funny. I have so few photos to post because we were like apart all the time. So
Well, and
like,
because you're like doing your job. I'm like sitting there literally like sneaking photos of Alex Landy.
sneaking photos. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things, especially now that we're wrapped. I'm like looking, I don't know, I'm looking back through everything, and not only does it make me so sad, but like a week and a half ago, I did like a photo dump
Oh yeah.
because I didn't know that I was going to be doing a takeover. So
You're like, hey guys, just rewind my photo dump.
I was like, can we just pull all of this stuff?
That's
But
hilarious.
yeah, I feel like I want to ask you more questions about the episode, but I don't know what I can ask you.
Ugh, that's so tricky. Well, okay, so there's a lot going on with Luna, who is this baby patient that Camilla's character Joe has been dealing with a lot this season, and it's a big episode for Joe and her patient. So
Awesome.
that's something we're all very, very excited about. Other than that, it's like we're on now in like 2 hours and 45 minutes, so we'll just have to tune in.
Oh, I'm so excited to watch.
Should we take some questions from the people who are watching? Let me look up some. Oh, there's no oh wait, yes, there's it said no questions yet, and I was like, how is that possible? There's a bajillion. Okay, let's look. Let's see. What is one of your fave BTS moments? And this is from Station 19 Fan 4.
Okay.
And I'll look for some more questions.
Yeah, look for some more while I think.
Okay.
I mean, there were some weird shenanigans because we were doing the 2 people per room thing where people started sneaking into our rooms.
Just like totally breaking the rules.
Yeah, just like everyone's like, we were all acting like spies. Like everyone would just, there was one point when we were shooting another episode where like 6 cast members ended up in the same room, and the COVID protocol people came in and were like,
they just lost
what are you doing?
Well, because you guys all hang out outside of work. Like you guys are all like sleeping over at each other's houses and stuff and like chilling. Like
I know, it was very cute, but like it was definitely that was one of those moments where it felt like, yeah, we're definitely breaking the rules, but we're in a pod, right?
Right. So, like you weren't breaking the rules of the country.
Yeah, but there were times when I would jump from one room with like Jay, and then I'd like sneak across the hallway to a room and hang out with Jaina, and then I'd like run down the hall and see Danielle.
Here's a behind the scenes moment. I moved to a new place, and Jay used to be like a contractor or work with contractors, so he's been like OG helping me out with like all my stuff at my new place. So literally I text Jay Hayden all the time being like, hey, what do I do with this plant outside? What do I do with this this wall? He's like awesome.
That's the sweetest. You know, like Jay and I don't actually know because we don't like post a lot, but we're like actually great. We're very close. And
yeah.
He and my boyfriend are really good friends, and we all like hang out all the time. So we went over for dinner not that long ago, but it was like I call him, like him and my boyfriend Austin do all these projects. Like we're like trying to find a reason for them to like work together on some sort of like home improvement project.
Oh my God.
They love each other, and I love them together.
Oh my God, Shondaland, if you're listening, like get these 2 a show.
Can we please? Come on.
I'll guest star on it. You guys can like redo my room or something.
Do you want to know this silly idea that we had like back in season 2 is me and Jay wanted to pitch this idea of the 2 of us sitting in the aid car, and it was like, it would be like a mini episodes on
Yeah.
like the ABC website where we just sit in the aid car and people pop in between us, you know, in that like little space between the driver's seat and the passenger
Yeah.
seat, and we interview them, and we wanted to call it Stuck in Traffic.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
And all we do is talk to people.
Oh my God, I love that. Shauna Land is listening. They just gave us the eyes. They were like,
Give
I think
us
we got some good ideas here, guys.
the job. Okay, do another question because I want some for you because I can't see them.
Oh, you can't see them? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Oh gosh, so then I have to choose. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna scroll and randomly pick one so that I don't have to actually choose. What did I think of this year's Station 19? That's incredible. It was awesome. I actually think the like one of the best episodes of television I ever saw was the episode where you guys tackled the Black Lives Matter stuff. I mean, you've tackled it a lot this season, but
Yeah.
the George Floyd protests, and then it sort of bled into the Grey's Anatomy's
Yeah.
take on it as well. It was probably the best 2 hours of television I've seen in a long time, and it was like the fact that you guys all put so much of yourselves into that episode too. I know Krista talked about it often, where the episode was like written by you guys, I thought was incredible. And to see all the different points of view around it was, I was like, I remember I was like live tweeting during it, and I like physically couldn't because I was paying attention so much to it. So I've loved it. What can you talk about that episode more? Like how what that was for you guys as a cast, or for you, or
I mean, it was a pretty incredible experience. I mean, other people have said, I mean, Jason was the one who really shocked me. And he said, I've never seen anything like this before, where this came together the way it did. It actually all was born on a Zoom call between the actors and Krista and our, you know, and Paris and our like team. And it was a very unique experience. We all got an opportunity to, she gave us the option of writing our own monologues or contributing any ideas to the writers. I did not write my own, but I you know, I talked with the writers a lot in the process of putting this together, and it was just like, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I think we were all very nervous because it felt so experimental, but it turned out really fantastic, and we're all really proud of it.
Well, and it was probably scary because it was so vulnerable too, because it was I feel like a lot of times as actors, you know, you're given a role and you sort of put as much of yourself as you can into it, but this felt like it was like you guys, which was
that's awesome.
Incredible. I loved it.
Hey Jake.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite person to work with on Grey's Anatomy?
Oh
Bet you've answered this question before.
My favorite person to work with. Well, I mean, JC Elliott is like my best friend in real life, so obviously love those scenes. She had like a killer scene last episode, talking about like quarantine fatigue, pretty much, or like pandemic fatigue, she was beautiful in that. I would say my favorite person on the show that I actually don't get to work with that often is Katarina, who plays Shepard, and I love her so much as a human being, and like the couple times that we've been able to like cross paths, it has been like wonderful, and I've had like incredible just like one-on-one discussions with her that I love. But we like never get to work together. I think I've been in like 3 scenes with her, which is such a bummer. But maybe next year, fingers crossed. Maybe Levi will go into neuro or something.
Yeah.
Cool. But we'll see.
What are you most proud of this season?
Oh, what am I most proud of? That's hard because I feel like this season has been such a different season in the stories that we've gotten to tackle, and like the if like Grace has always been very current and has talked about issues that are current, but this feels different because we're like all of us are living through this thing, and so like even just looking back on it, I feel like 5 years from now or 10 years from now, looking back on this season of Grey's and this season of Station 19, it'll feel like we were able to like encapsulate a little bit of the time in these episodes, and So I'm proud of that. Yeah, yeah, maybe that.
That's an amazing, yeah, that's such an incredible observation. I feel like that it's weird because it's both very specific in its timing, but also timeless. Like some of these ideas and like loneliness
Yeah,
and racism, like they've been alive forever.
yeah.
And it's and disease and um, like codependence. The fact that we as people like need each other, and there's just so much about that yeah, it'll be interesting years from now to look back and see if this still rings true or if it feels like PTSD when we
Uh,
look back.
I literally, I mean, that's also been the hardest thing because I have had a lot of anxiety around the pandemic, and my
Mm-hmm.
normal like anxiety behavior has certainly been heightened this year. And PTSD was definitely a trigger word when you said it, because it is like we've been talking about it for so long, and then going into work and also talking about it, and
Yeah,
then like digging within yourself to tell these stories. Like Levi, everything Levi went through this season, I went through this year. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like, um, so on one hand, being able to like cathartically purge some of those emotions through him was good, but then also just like constantly being reminded of it and having to live it was definitely a difficult thing this year.
absolutely.
But also a gift, I think, for as a viewer to watch it. You know,
Yeah,
as
I
someone
had
who
an
loves the
acting
show.
teacher once who used to say that like when something felt too close to home, it was too hot to touch. Like that
Oh
was the way she phrased
yeah.
it. And so much of the stuff that we had to do, that I had to do this year too, it felt too hot to touch. But
Okay, as an actor or from that acting coach, do you remember what their like what technique or what you could use as an actor to touch something that was too hot to touch, or to work through it, or did you have to just like imagine it as something else if it was too hot to touch?
well, she was one of my favorite teachers I had when I was in my like early 20s.
Hmm.
Um, and she was all about embracing it and
Yeah,
just digging deeper into it to try to uncover like what was it that was difficult, because it's never just one thing. So if you can
right,
sort of peel back the layers and get to something that's very tangible and very um, not so dense, so it's not so complicated. So it's got all these layers, and then you sort of peel them up and then start putting them back down, which like
right.
she wanted all of us to just go right for it, which was really, there were days in class where obviously I couldn't, it did not feel safe. But that's part of our job. And so
Yeah,
practicing, I mean, it was a skill that I had to practice.
right.
Um, and it still doesn't always happen, like it can be really challenging. You understand. I mean, we do this all the time where like you're given a piece of material that you're like, am I going to be able to do this today? Like, am I going to get there today?
Yeah.
Like, it's and it's scary. And then you kind of also say whatever that place is today is where it is today. And
Hmm.
that, and your character can be there too.
Which
It's
that is actually something I felt so much more this year. For some of the previous years, I was like, okay, Levi is in this certain situation, and I need to figure out how to get myself there. But this year, I was like, I think I leaned a lot more on myself, maybe
mm,
this year, in the sense where I was like, I know what this particular trauma feels like because I'm going through something similar right now. So
yeah,
like, I'll just how I'm feeling right now is how Levi's going to be feeling right now. I mean, that being said, granted, he's a doctor and he's going through something a little bit different. But
right.
in terms of, like, I think of like, his scenes with Nico or his scenes with Joe, a lot of that stuff I was able to pull from myself, which was, I don't even know what it was. It was interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you want to do one more question?
yeah, let's do one more.
I'll see let's see if someone has one more question for you. Let's scroll down. I mean, they definitely say, can we be besties? I feel like the answer is yes. Um,
I'm just looking at the comments down here. They're so
Oh, yeah.
sweet.
They are. There's a lot of like, tell us about tonight. Oh, you guys, it's so close. It's an hour and a half. Um, okay. This is a question we get often, but I don't know that I've heard you answer it. How similar are you to your character?
Good question. Of course, we have a lot of similarities. I think the way Vic processes her emotions is very, very different than
Okay.
me. I'm like a hyper emotional person. I cry at the drop of a hat. Like in life, I cry
Yeah.
watching movies and TV shows all the time. So I'm working in the right place. But like I I think primarily what I learned, especially after, I like to take my cues about my character from the writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow where the writing goes. So even when I'm confused about like, oh, well, this doesn't make sense to me, I follow whatever the writing says. So if it feels contradictory, I'll talk to the writers about it and ask. But I love challenging myself to go to that place, even if it feels uncomfortable for me as a person who's like, well, wouldn't she be sadder, or wouldn't she be more angry, or wouldn't
Right.
she confront this person? And if the answer is no in the scene, then the answer is no.
And then you fold that into Vic, and you're like,
And so
Vic
that
does
becomes
have this contradiction. What does that
exactly,
mean
that
about
becomes
Vic? Yeah.
part of who she is. So like, I think Vic, for all of her good humor, which I think I share, she's quick to laugh, she's quick to joke around. She's really tight with Travis. But like, I think that the biggest difference between myself and Vic is the way she processes trauma. She's a person who moves on very fast. I don't. I'm like fiercely loyal. I have a really hard time getting over things, not necessarily grudges or anything, but like when bad things happen, I carry them a lot and for a long time. And even though I think this season Vic has been working through some of that, and we'll see her continue to work through some of that tonight in this episode, it's very different from who I am as a person, which is kind of great. I love that. I love that challenge, because I don't want her to be just like me. And of course, there's always going to be things. They pull so much from us, the writers do, because they've seen us for 4 years, however long we've been doing the show. But and they bring that to the character. But I think that I'm really grateful that there are those differences, even if sometimes I don't agree with them personally. Like, I wouldn't do the same thing, but thank God I wouldn't, because this whole experience would be way, way harder.
Totally.
How about you?
I'm a lot like Levi, and I do think it was a little bit like because Levi came out of the closet in season 15, the writers opened the room up a lot to me in terms of like the types of stories that I would want to tell as a queer person. And so I think because of that, there's a lot of similarities between he and I. But also, like in the first season, he's so klutzy because I'm also kind of klutzy, and the multiple times that he fell down and was like uncoordinated was because I fell down in real life. So it was like a little bit of it was like, if it's got on camera, it's got on camera. That's it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like we've learned a lot from each other, which is really good. But we're definitely similar.
I love that.
Yeah.
I miss you, Jake.
I miss you too. When are you spending the whole hiatus in New York, or are you gonna be back here?
I should
Or
be
Connecticut,
back.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out in New York, I think, after I'm done with this for a little bit, and then I'm gonna head back to LA probably sometime in July.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Well, let's connect. I miss you, and I'm so excited to learn what you're working on right now, and I can't wait to see it. And I'll be watching you tonight. I'm so excited.
I'll be watching you
very
tonight.
Soon. Yay!
I can't wait.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the live, Jake.
Yeah. See you, Barrett.
Okay. Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.